Great. Thank you, AJ, and hope you all enjoyed a little small break, some coffee, some tea. How to move your eBay sales to the next level. Happy to run you through that over the next 30 minutes. And most importantly, what will you get out of the session? Why does it matter? And what powerful tools do we offer you with a store, without a store subscription, independently? So we will go through the promo tools which are available to you, the benefits of setting up business policies. Are there benefits to it? Yes, there are definitely benefits to business policies, and we just brought some big advancement to that. And then learn how to set up the business policies and how to use them, not just locally, but also internationally as well, which is just really great. Before going into that, would be really keen to get an understanding, what promotional tools do you currently use on eBay? So would be great if you can give us an understanding by selecting multi-buy order discount, sale event and markdown, coded coupons, offer to buyers, or best offer, or multiple of those. You all set? Multi-buy, by far the most used promotional tool. Pretty impressive. We see this in the numbers, and it's pretty interesting. Multi-buy is used heavily in Europe, and there's a difference from Europe to the US. But multi-buy is by far the biggest, and I think it's quite easy to set up and use it by you as well. We'll go to that in detail in a bit. Order discount, and then sale event and markdown, interestingly, also used quite heavily. Coded coupons, offer to buyers with 53%, also heavily used, and best offer. So pretty interesting to see those numbers. I didn't expect them like that, to be honest. So really interesting. Now coming to the transactions, I'm keen to get an understanding how many transactions occur through listings that feature at least one of our promo tools. What do you think? How many buyers have a touch point with transactions when they come on eBay, when they look at a listing? What would be the right number? We have 24%, 34%, 44%, or D, 54%. "52.3% of you in the room say there's a transaction which has a touch point with a promo tool." It's not quite right, it's 44%. So a little bit less than the 54%, but still almost 50%. Almost every other listing on the site has a touch point with a promotion on the site. And that's why there's so much value in setting up a promotion the right way for the right product at the right time. And this is something we are working on this year and will continue working on through the course of next year, because what we hear from you as well as other sellers across the markets, we do have the promotional tools out there, but it's challenging for you as a seller when to use which promotional tools. And it's not intuitive either. There are some promotional tools which look the same, which do a little bit different. What is the result for the buyer? Is it intuitive for the buyer? So we hear that loud and clear. We are working on it, and it will actually become better. 44% touch point, I think that's quite impressive. We are working to bring in that number up even further to make sure that the work you put in to set up promotions for all the listings you have on the site, that it pays off even more. We have promo tools. How do we look at them? We look at them which are available to you where a shop is required and where there's no shop required. And there are certain reasons why it makes sense to have some promotional tools available to you as a seller without a store subscription or shop subscription, and some of them where it totally makes sense to have a shop subscription in place to have access to sale event and markdown, coded coupons and order discount, because we believe once you have a shop subscription that you're more professional seller and more investing in your eBay business to drive sales and increase your growth over time. Then the promo tools where no shop is required are offer to buyers. You might have heard also seller-initiated offer. So there are multiple names out there in the market. And best offer, which has been around for quite some time. And for sure, what we have seen, the multi-buy. One of the questions I hear from marketplace advisors, but also from sellers as well, how do I use that? What's the right thing to do? How do I set up a campaign? And I did bring some examples where it was used in a great way, where it should be, but also where there's room for improvement. And some of the promotions on the site just don't make sense at all. And maybe this is something where you can ask yourself, could this be me? Could I have used a promotional tool, but not set it up in a proper way? Real quick, multi-buy and order discount. I think multi-buy is pretty common sense. It makes sense where like I have products where it makes sense to buy more than 1 or 2 or 3 items at a time, for example, light bulbs. We see a lot of products on the site where sellers add multi-buy and give discounts. Does it make sense, for example, on smartphones? Does a discount on smartphones make really sense? I think it's questionable, because how many people would buy more than 1 smartphone at a time? It's very rare occasion, but we do have listings on a site like that. So we are working to optimize that from a point of usability to make it easier for you as a seller to leverage those promo tools. But we are also looking into taking those promotions off the site. And now the one or other could say, well, wait a minute, I invest time to set up a promotion, to think about it. Why you as eBay want to take off the promotion? Well, if it doesn't add value for you and for the buyer, why should we keep it running? So we are working on giving you as a seller guidance to set up multi-buy for the right products at the right time. There's a lot of work been done behind the scenes, and some of that will come this year and more to come early next year then in that. Order discount is something which can be used across the board, I think. An example here, buy a sofa and receive 20% discount on a matching chair. But this is something where you also could do targeted cross-selling. And this is what we are lacking as a feature itself. But I'm also not seeing many listings on the site, no matter which site, if it's UK, German site, US site, where sellers use the order discount with a targeted discount. Like, think about it as a shoe seller. I could put in like additional shoelaces, shoe spray, whatsoever. If I buy a new smartphone, anyone here who just recently bought a smartphone? Was there a charger in that, or was there just a cable in that? So those are the things where you really have to go take the step back and say, what could be beneficial for the buyer to add on that order discount? And there's where the cross-selling starts, and potentially maybe even some upselling as well, but more in the cross-selling section where they add up and the buyer sees value and sees, hey, yeah, it makes sense to not just for the smartphone get the charger, but in addition to that, maybe even a case for that if you happen to have that in your products as well. So there are a lot of cases where it makes sense to set up the order discount in a targeted way and invest a little bit more time to it, because you are the one who not just bring great inventory to the site, but also know the inventory best. And you are the one who can combine that and create bigger value and better value for our buyers. And this is the value you bring to the site. You are the experts, and you prove that every day with your sales, with your commitment to sell. But I think there's still a little nitty tweak to that which can be done better, and there's always is, and we can do better as well, for sure. Order discount, just an example where it really is, I think, good within the fashion in here, where it's about a t-shirt where you can save up to 70%. Great. Does it make sense? Yes. Is it feasible? Absolutely, because within the fashion products, fashion vertical, there is quite a good margin in it, so it's totally feasible. Again, the smartphone example, does it really make sense? 15% off for like smartphones. In here it works, yes, but order discount for like 2, 3, 4 smartphones, not the best thing. The only thing why the seller is using that, and I spoke to that seller why he's using it, interestingly he said, well, I want to have that marketing message. I want to have that marketing message up there. Well, great, but there are better ways for you as a seller who sells smartphone to get a marketing message and to get a better promo tool set up for your product. So ask yourself, have you done the right promotion for your tools? Or might there be a better way to make use of the promotional tools? With multi-buy, I think it's common sense that, for example, light bulbs, that buyers usually buy more than 1 or 2, so totally adds value in here. While on the other side, now we have a fashion example, 10% with multi-buy. Does it really add value? Is it really something which makes sense in here? Looking in the numbers of that listing and other listings who have multi-buy on the site within the fashion, it's not that valuable for those products. So there could be potentially great promotions with multi-buy within fashion, but what we've seen on the numbers, there's room for improvement. And that improvement will be done by us through guidance coming out over the next couple of months, but also we need your help to achieve that as well when you set up new promotions to really think about it. Does it make sense? Does it add value for the buyer? The next promotional tools is coded coupons, and as Sam said earlier, social media is a powerful entry point for prospective buyers. It is great, and as you can see, sharing coupons is one entry point which can be used. You set them up on your rules, whatever you want, the budget, how often they can be used, one time you want them to run, for which buyers, but it really helps you to increase the reach on social media. And interestingly, 84%, a little bit more than 84% of the UK population that are active social media users, those are the ones you want to get. Those are the ones, the 84%. It's a tremendous number, and you can get them through coded coupons, driving awareness of your eBay sales channel, no matter if you have a store or not. Why is it so important, social media? And I think it's pretty interesting, and some of you might be aware of that number. Almost 50%, so 43.5% of the internet users globally research brand and products on social media. And this is why it is so important. Many, many people go on social media, they search for products there, and if you're there with your sales channel, even with a coded coupon, you can make use and you can leverage that. Leveraging a lot of potential buyers, not just locally or but also globally. It's a tremendous amount, and that number is growing. So why not make use of that? Just real quick, buy one, get one at 20% off coupon, view the code. You set up your own rules. At the moment, you might see it's not quite intuitive for the buyers because in some coupons they have to copy the code, put it in. We are changing that the coupon is automatically applied when the buyer sees it, make it easier and more seamless, so that we take off volume from you as a seller in here. We do see an uplift in traffic when coupons are used, and you cannot just use it in social media, you can also use it in case you do email marketing. Put it just add the coded coupon in there in case you do email marketing. In case you haven't done it, it's an interesting way to think about the people who purchased from you in the last 30, 60, 90 days. Send them an email, say you have an attractive sale going on, here's a coupon, just increase your reach, and by that also drive traffic and drive conversation. What you should be aware of is that your buyers receive coupons where it makes sense to them. So if you have a wide variety of products in your portfolio, you should be a little bit more targeted and specific to that and not do it across everything. Why? Because it doesn't add value if everything is discounted. And if you think about an offline store, you're going into an offline store, there will always be products which have a discount on it, but not 100%. And you shouldn't do the same with your internet sales, with your eBay store, if you have an eBay store or without an eBay store. Don't put 100% on a sale. It just diminishes or decreases the value you as a seller bring to the site. Good example for a coded coupon in here is like 15% off with a coupon for that waffle maker. I think it's pretty easy for many to do the math. 15% off of the 28. That's doable, that's great. On the other side, 8% off with a coupon with a sales price of 52. Okay, I could maybe do roughly 10%, a little bit less, but it's still not that easy. So also think about how much of a percentage of your setup. Is it easy to digest? What discount do I get as a buyer? And again, this leads back to the earlier session of clinics. How easy for me as a buyer is it to digest the offer you are making as a seller? And it's a whole package. You can think about it like a puzzle. It's not just a picture, the item title, it's also the sales price they see up front and search result page. And do they see it, and can they kind of easily do the math? 10% discount, hey, great, I can do that easily. 8% of 52, well, it takes me a little bit more time. I might get to it eventually, but buyers, they will not stick with you that long, or they will not stick to a certain listing that long. So it's the whole package you bring to the site, pictures, price, shipping price as well, so sales price, shipping price, item title, and potentially the eBay Premium Service badge or other badges in case you sell certain products. Sale event and markdown. So why does it really make sense to hold a sale? There might be reasons why you want to get rid of certain products because they're end of life, or there's seasonality, like back to school, Halloween coming up, peak season, Black Friday is coming up, Christmas for sure. So there's always reason to have sale events. And when you go in international, there are even more things in the calendar, like Thanksgiving, for example, in the US, Memorial and all that stuff. All those things can be put into consideration, the products to put on sale. Why does it matter? Because certain products on a sale event increase your chance of being seen, and that people, buyers, potential buyers, click on those listings. The restriction in here is the following. Sale event and markdown, you cannot touch the listings for 14 days. So 2 weeks, the item needs to be listed on the site, untouched. You cannot change the price, the stock quantity, the item title, the item description. Put it on the site for a regular sales price. Don't artificially increase the sales price up front. There might be some legal implications. Please check with your lawyer. And then actually, you can have the chance to put it on a sale for up to 2 weeks. And in case you see, hey, this is just running great, I want to extend it, well, at the moment, this is not doable. So that item, which has been in the sale event and markdown, needs to pause for 2 weeks again, and then you can bring it up in a new sale event and reuse that. So all of that is great to get attraction, make an additional value for the buyers, but also to maybe clear out your warehouse, get rid of some stuff, but also to promote some new inventory, to bring new inventory to the site and get an understanding with different price points over time, what would be the perfect price for you. Key call out, 14 days before being included in a sale, don't touch the item, no matter what. And 2 weeks after the sale event is over, you cannot reuse the same listing for another sale event. Time your sale, I think this is really important, and there are a lot of events over the course of the year where you can consider the different promotional tools for different products in your inventory to make use of that. And especially for the sale event, since you cannot touch the item, consider your stock quantities. Some of you might use auto refill as a function, depending on if you work with a third-party provider. That does not work with a sale event, because in case you use auto refill, you come below the threshold, the stock quantity gets filled up again, the item will not be eligible anymore. So there are a lot of things to be aware of when you want to do a sale event, for example, with that specific item. What you shouldn't do, and let me call it out one more time, artificially increase the item price in advance. It's not just against eBay policy, but also might lead to some legal implications. So you should be fully aware of that. Hold the sale randomly. Does it really add value to have a sale next week and maybe in 2 weeks and not really putting some thoughts into that? Well, it could be good, but looking into the numbers, it's not. So really think about what is going on. Is there any specific championship coming up, any games, any regional events where it really makes sense to bring something on the site and use the promotional tools to add value for the buyers. And this is, by the end of the day, it's how do I, as a seller, add value to the buyers? It's the great service you already offer, but maybe it's, in addition to that, a great deal on top of that. And then, not all your items on sale. This is always risky, always tricky, and to me personally, it just doesn't look good. I don't know how you feel about it, like 100% of your inventory on sale. I think that's the critical piece about it. It looks a little bit strange, let's put it this way. This should be it about the promotional tools. Now coming to the business policies. Business policies, I don't know, can you maybe give me a hand sign? How many of you use business policies? Okay, so roughly 50%. The ones of you who don't use business policies, I don't know if you used them in the past or not, or if you haven't used them at all. Business policies are policies which can help you speed up multiple things on eBay. We did a lot of enhancement over the course of this year. In the past, it was painful to use them because of the way it was set up, and in worst case, you can have thousands and thousands of business policies. That changed. So what do business policies really do? They help the buyers, let them know what I as a buyer can expect and what I have to pay you and how to pay you. They give a better understanding to manage the time of delivery, because I can set it up in business policies. And think about if you have inventory which goes by parcel and by two-man handling time, you don't want to do it on a one-on-one basis. You can separate it within the business policies quite easily, and then once you have it set up and tied the respective listings to that, you can do that in bulk. You can set up the business policies for the delivery service you offer. Delivery service, again, can be differentiated package two-man handling time, but also national and international. And then also the last one within that is like whether you accept 30-day or 60-day return policy. So basically, 3 business policies are possible: payment, shipping, and return. Could be just 3, but it could be more than that depending on the variety of products you offer. Or if you sell national but international, and you might want to differentiate on there. So how can I as a seller benefit from business policies? It reduces the manual workload you have for that. You set up the business policies once, and then in case there's any changes to, for example, the shipping speed, the shipping carrier, or whatever is needed in terms of return time frame, there's a change you need to do. You go into the business policies, you do the changes, you say save, and it will automatically update all your listing at once. Don't have to worry about going into each listing, making sure it's updated. In case your listings are attached to the respective business policy, you can do that in one go, usually within a few minutes, and you're done. And that frees up a lot of time rather than going through listing by listing. Or even in bulk, when you go on the site and say, I want to do this in like 500 or 2,000, that still can take up a lot of time. So business policies help you to save time, free up time, because I think you have more important things to do than changing rules or sales or price points for packages in case they increase. Hassle-free, well, not all products are the same. We had that. It's pretty interesting, and let me just come to that real quick. Why does it also make sense to use it? Business policies are the backbone of the perfect listing. Business policies help you to achieve the premium service criteria because it's just easier, faster. And why does it help you? Well, the time you save on updating all the listings, unless you have maybe a third party, where this also could still be challenging and time consuming, you can free up time and focus really on selling. And this is what we as a marketplace care about. We are working on the tools to make sure they give you time back to optimize selling, to bring more inventory on the site and free up time by the end of the day. So the perfect listing, what is it? It's like, as you know, free postage option with a 3-day estimate, same day or 1-day dispatch time, reasonable same day cutoff time, not earlier than 2 p.m. We've seen a broad variety of cutoff times, only to have it from like 10 a.m. to 6, 7 p.m. So it should be ideally everything after 2 p.m. And that works. Make click and collect available, track delivery service for sure, a minimum of 30-day return policy, and the next day postage option for not more than £10. If you wonder where you can find business policies, they are within the Seller Hub. When you go on the Listings tab, on the left-hand side, pretty much at the bottom, you see business policies. Once you click on that, it depends, have you used them before? And they are still active, then you will get right into them. Otherwise, you will see a little info screen that you are about to activate the business policies, and you have to set them up once. Setting up business policies, it's quite intuitive. In here we can see the returns and the policy name you see on top, the national 60 days I put in here. This is an internal name which you see in the back office, so it doesn't appear for the buyers on the site or competing sellers on the site. It's just for you, and you should make sure to put something in which adds value to you and not any numbers which afterwards you don't know what it is about and need to go into that anymore. Why is that important? I come to that in a minute. Then the item description, definition, whether you accept returns, yes or not. Who's going to pay for the return? Is it you as a seller or the buyer? And then define the international returns. This is the overview when we see the added postage policies. Payment, why does it make sense? Even though eBay manages the payments now, well, you have the chance within the payment policy to say require immediate payment. So in here you can also set up a business policy where you can say for certain products, maybe high-priced products, you want to use the feature to require immediate payment, that you make sure that the buyer has to pay it and you can be sure it's sold and not maybe collected over like 2-3 days. This is how the business policy can look like. Again, we cleared up a lot behind the curtain in here, national, international, and with that, I'm already at the end of how you can use our promotional tools in combination with business policies to make more out of your sales on eBay. It is a combination, and it's not just a combination of that, it's a combination of a lot more. And you are more aware of that because you do this on a day-to-day basis. Great. So with that, I want to say thank you, and I pass over to our guest speaker, Andy Gray.